All right, you've joined John Callahan and Frankie Wrestling on our podcast show, the John Callahan and Frankie Wrestling Podcast Show. We're going to sit here and talk about WWE, Raw, Smackdown, NXT pay-per-views, pretty much review it, go over what we think, what might need to change, what they can do better, what they're doing great.
You going to introduce your co-host, sir?
Well, Frankie Wrestling, you can speak up anytime, my friend.
This is episode 1. I've been spending time thinking of an alias. My co-host decided to use it.
It's fresh. It's nice. John Callahan.
And we won't get a cease and desist order.
Exactly, right? You can't sue me if it's already my name.
It's okay. So we're coming off the biggest event of the year, Wrestlemania. What was it, 33?
Yeah, WrestleMania 33.
A very long show. If you needed, something that was going to help you go to sleep, parts of this show would have helped out with that. There's a lot of moments, but there were a lot of matches. Very draining to watch this show.
Just slow moving.
I think it was a good WrestleMania overall. Not great. It was definitely it wasn't terrible, especially considering some of the last few WrestleManias that they did.
And the Hardys are back, and they're freaking champions. They didn't screw them. And then Monday, they retained. They didn't screw them again.
Yes, but they're not broken, and I don't think they're going to be broken.
But we don't know, because, I was seeing something on my Twitter feed today where some other, company is helping WWE keep the broken in case TNA goes for any of that. It's like, nah, dude, come on. Y'all need to quit being little children and let them have something that they created and just blossomed into something awesome.
But look at how the new owners of Impact Wrestling or TNA or AWE or whatever the hell are going by. Who knows? Who cares? No, I shouldn't say that. Respect to the people that work there, the wrestlers, but, that the business is poorly run. But whatever they're calling themselves these days, they've not really been playing well with others. So
they're schoolyard bullies at the moment. They're like, hey, look, y'all blew up, got big. I mean, everywhere. Did you not hear them when they came into wrestling? Delete. I mean, even people who might not even watch TNA. People who are just, I'll watch a WWE pay-per-view every now and then because it's exciting. They knew it.
Right.
And for it to go that far, and now it's just like, oh, well, we're not going to let you have that success because that you started it here, so it belongs here. No, they started it, though.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what kind of deal they can come to. What I've been hearing and reading on the quote unquote dirt sheets is that they want a percentage of whatever the Hardys make doing this gimmick. They want a percentage of. So
and
maybe they'll work something out. Maybe they won't. I don't know.
Maybe, possibly.
But I withhold judgment on the Hardys' return until they get that figured out, because I feel like it could be another Dudley situation where they came in like a house of fire and became jobber to the stars in like a month and a half flat.
But the thing is, they came in as jobbers. The Hardys came in as champions.
Yeah, but the Dudleys were pushed as a big deal.
They were pushed as a big deal, but they were not pushed as champions.
No, they weren't pushed as champions, but they were pushed as contenders for like a month and a half. And then
and that was nostalgia.
Jobber to the stars.
Yeah, it was like, hey, let's get these people over real quick. Dudleys, y'all are always loved and blah, 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 but it's not the hype that the Hardys had with their broken. And I understand that the broken is what made the hype so much better, but I still believe, even if TNA wants some sort of percentage, WWE might go, you know what? How about we cut you a check for this much, you call it good, and we're gravy.
And I think it's just as possible for WWE to get the rights to the broken gimmick and completely fuck it up with that 100 writers they have, and not to mention everything has to be pushed through one person at the end of the day, and he could, they could easily, look at their track record of messing up obvious layups, basically, that should be hard to figure out, but they find a way to mess it up. They snatch defeat from the jaws of victory a lot of times, and I withhold judgment on the Hardys' return until we can get these things figured out.
I'm at least happy.
I'm happy too. I'm definitely.
I'm not a soothsayer. I don't see into the future, but at this moment, I am pleased.
I'm happy for those guys. I hope they remain happy. I know, with the schedule, they can become not happy real quick because I don't really think they're too keen on the traveling, the ridiculousness.
But what if they were like, hey, you know what? We only get to do this for a little bit longer. Sign like a 1-2 year contract. Go out with a bang. Retire. Done. WWE over. You go out on a high note. Came in with one great tag team championship run. I pray. Please, Vince McMahon from above, if you hear me, let it happen.
All right, man. You wanna get into Raw?
Yeah, we can get into Raw. Let's get into how it started off.
Okay, I actually missed this. I had to look this up, but you saw this.
You missed nothing. It was da-da, da-da, boo. 10 minutes later, boo. Oh, I mean, every time he pulled the mic up to say something, it was just boo, because that's the universe. You push somebody too hard, too quickly, and they don't respond, and so you just get booed. But at least he did say, this is my yard now. He at least got that out.
What the hell are they doing with Roman Reigns?
Dude,
what are they doing? This dude, I know what they would like him to be, but what are they doing, right? Like, what response did they think that they were going to get from this dude beating The Undertaker? You want this guy to be the ultimate babyface. You want him to be John Cena, The Rock. You want him to be Stone Cold. You want him to be all these people as far as popularity. And you literally shit on so many wrestling fans' childhood. I mean, granted, we all knew The Undertaker had to go at some point. It was getting ridiculous. And he looked really bad at the Royal Rumble. And I honestly was saying before WrestleMania that I did not want to see him wrestle. Because I didn't want to remember him like that. I didn't want him to hurt himself more than he already has. That being said, the respect that The Undertaker has in the business, I want to know what reaction did they actually think that they were going to get with this guy being the one to retire him. Not to mention, we all know that what they want Roman Reigns to be. Did he have to be the guy to do this? Why? I was watching. I'm a fan of a lot of podcasts, and I was listening to one of my favorite podcasters, Jason Solomon, aka the Solomon Monster, and he was making a point about the Attitude Era, and he said that why is there this need for WWE to have one guy? In the Attitude Era, you had two guys. You had Austin and you had The Rock. And why can't there be multiple guys? Why did Roman Reigns need this? Was it really going to kill Roman Reigns to not have this accolade? Could you not have given it to someone like Braun Strowman? Could you imagine?
Oh, yeah, well,
Braun Strowman getting this accolade, what that could do for his career?
It would do a lot of things, but the thing is, they're doing the slow burn with Roman. They're like, hey, we're going to make you a heel. We're going to make you a heel in the next 20 years. And then all of a sudden, by that time, you got John Cena again. Because it's almost the same type of shit they did with him. He came
exactly
in,
the same thing.
blah, 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 thugonomics, whatever. And then all of a sudden, he went face. And for a long time, the rumors kept coming back. Oh, Cena's going to go heel. Cena's going to go heel. And then he was just like, no, I'm good. Half of them can hate me. Half of them can like me. And that's what we're getting. We're getting the person to, quote unquote, take over for John Cena, who people hate and who people admire for some reason. Don't get me wrong, Roman Reigns is, to me, a pretty great wrestler. He's great at selling stuff. Granted, he could do a little bit more in the moves department. Yeah. I mean, he's got
Let's not do 10 Superman punches a match. I think that's what we need to start.
It's like he's a level 15 World of Warcraft character. You only got the first 5 keys to use it as an attack, and that's it. And then you have to wait for the bitches to cool down.
They call John Cena, he has the 5 moves of doom. Roman literally has about 2 moves. And you see them, you see the spear and the Superman punch about 3 times a match each.
I missed the freaking Razor's Edge into the powerbomb even. He hasn't done that in a long time.
Now, here's the thing, and I sound like I'm hating on Roman a little bit, but Roman, as far as fluidity in the ring, he looks much better than John Cena. Because John Cena, is, even to this day, he has good matches, but he's just very goofy and sloppy looking.
He sells the first punch like he sells the last punch. That's the problem. The very first punch in the match, you swing at him, and he's on the ground like he just got hit from some punch out in right field. And then at the end of the match, you hit him with the same punch, and he's doing the same thing. It's like you didn't gradually get weaker or anything. You didn't withstand any damage in the beginning. You just took it, flopped around like LeBron James, respect, and then won the match at the end. It's like, come on, you've got to make it a little bit more believable. You're supposed to be Super Cena, but Super Cena's getting caught by a kryptonite left hook every damn time and flopping around out the ring. Like, it's just crazy.
Not to mention, I believe that John Cena throws the worst work punch in business.
He doesn't have a work punch. He tries like 15 different punches throughout a match to see which one looks good. And they never look good.
The answer is none of them.
None of them. Start throwing kicks. Go windmill style. Bobby Hill will do better than you. That's his purse and he don't know you.
But getting back to Roman, though, I do think it was smart on WWE's part to make him come out to the ring, and I do think that was planned for him not to say anything. I think they knew exactly what they were going to get.
Oh, yeah.
But I also think that they need to figure out what they want this guy to be. You know, you heard that stuff about Triple H last week saying, Roman Reigns is already a heel because 70% of the audience boos him. But why do you continue to book him like a face? He doesn't fight heels. He fights the authority. He fights, any heel that you got. He doesn't. Why do you feel the need to do things? And it's credit where credit is due. I think I heard this on Wrestling Suit too. Why do you feel the need to edit audio of the crowd responses to Roman if Roman's a heel? So it's a very dumb statement.
Because it's the slow burn.
No,
it's not a good slow burn. It's the stupid slow burn.
You know, it's Triple H trying to. He can't say. I sincerely believe Triple H can't say how dumb he thinks this actually is because in the position he's in right now, he has to. When he gets asked questions like this, look at how. All you have to do is look at how Triple H deals with NXT. I don't think that there's no Roman Reigns or John Cena type figure down in NXT. You have defined faces and defined heels. I think, given the opportunity, Triple H would not do it this way. But when asked questions from a business standpoint, he has to, toe the company line. And he has to say stuff like that. Unfortunately for him, it sounded really dumb in this interview to say that. Here's the thing about Roman. I think they actually have to figure out what this guy is. If you want him to be a face and just get booed out of every building he's going to be in for the next 15 years, then, by all means. Or turn him heel and reinvigorate the character. But I'm finding that I'm becoming indifferent to Roman Reigns generally. I'm really, when he's on my TV, I'm just counting the seconds until he's off my TV, until I get something on my TV that I want to watch.
And that really sucks because he can do a great job. They just don't allow him to do a great job. They have ruined
his career by forcing him like this.
He is a merchandise salesman at this point.
I don't hate Roman Reigns, but I hate this idea that they keep forcing, and they're so stubborn about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous.
All right, so next thing I got, Neville match. Did you catch that?
Was that the next match, or did they start off with the Hardys after that? I thought they went.
They did start off with the Hardys, but I already went to the Hardys, so that just skipped completely over my head.
Okay,
because I already said they retained.
They look good on Raw. Was it Gallows and Anderson?
Yep, Gallows and Anderson for their rematch.
Matt Hardy's still doing some of the delete mannerisms, even though, like I said, I don't believe that he'll be able to do that. Swanton for the win. I mean, it was a good match.
That Swanton looked vicious, though. I know Most of the time, Jeff hits it with his shoulders and his head, but I mean, that was all hips and legs.
Yeah, I was about to say, it looked like his whole body landed on
That must have sucked for freaking Anderson. He was like, oh no, this isn't how it was supposed to happen. But I liked it. It was nice. Granted, they hit 2 different twists of fates.
Right.
Like back to back. But I'm cool with that because it was 1-on-1 and then 1 on the other guy, so.
We'll see, man. We'll see if they can keep the interest in this tag division. Both tag divisions on both shows are deader than dead right now, in my opinion. So if they can breathe life, I think the Revival, which we'll talk about later,
yes, coming
in. I really wish they'd gone to Smackdown, but I wish everybody I like that comes up from NXT goes to Smackdown because I just think they'll be used better.
Sorry, Raw. It's the truth, though.
It really is. And I've read something a while back where it's like, the wrestlers are not dumb. They know this. The wrestlers on Raw know SmackDown's the better show, and it actually frustrates
SmackDown's the show for if you want to actually go to do what you're in this company to do. Not if you want to go to be on Toda Bellas.
Yes.
Or if you want to act.
Or Vince's comedy hour where we do everything except wrestle.
Get jobbed every match, have some sort of stupid finisher.
There are literally Raws where they go an hour and 15 minutes and they'll have like 2.5 minutes of in-ring time. On a wrestling show. What the hell is that? Whatever.
Days of our fights.
Oh, gosh. Okay, so I got the next match as the Cruiserweight match, and I thought that was completely forgettable.
Really, you didn't like?
I didn't care for it, and the crowd took a fat dump on it too, which I felt bad for.
And don't get me wrong, Daivari, but still, how Neville was just.
I understand that, but they got to do a better job of making me care about these guys.
They do. But I like how he was going for the Red Arrow, and they were like, "Yeah!" And then he said, "Screw you," and threw him in the submission.
That was classic. I did like that.
I was like, "Yes!" At least, even though they're not booking him correctly, he is still taking advantage of whatever he gets.
He's doing great.
He's doing amazing. Great. I just hope they don't bury him by constantly trying to throw bullshit at him.
They have to get me to care about these other guys, and the thing with the Cruiserweights is they were supposed to be different, and I don't feel that they're doing everything in their power to make them the same. And here's the thing: when you look at the Cruiserweights were 20 years ago. They were completely different than what you were seeing in the main event with Hogan and Sting and all those guys in WCW. They were flipping around, flying around. Now you got Luke Harper doing the same thing the Cruiserweights do. You got them in these boring ass storylines that don't need to be done, and instead of letting them, you handicap them a lot of times as far as what they can do in the ring because they're not allowed to do certain things because we don't need them getting hurt. So it's like more and more you're closing that gap, and they look like everything else on the roster. So they look like everything else in the roster, and I'm not invested in them as characters. Why should I give a fuck?
The Cruiserweight Classic was done correctly.
Absolutely.
But then you take what you earned from the Cruiserweight Classic, and y'all were like, y'all put a little too much sugar in this tea. We're from up north. We don't have this much sugar. No.
The worst thing that happened there is when we voted on the app to get it as a weekly show, because I think that we wanted it to be like the Cruiserweight Classic, and that shit wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
They WWE-ized the Cruiserweight Classic.
But WWE knew that before they even gave us a freaking option of making it that way. They were like, yeah, we're going to make it a show, but they can't do everything that they just did right there because that was like a once-in-a-long-time deal. But instead, they take it and... I mean, they didn't even...
I would be happy if 205 Live was more like NXT.
Exactly.
Less like the main roster.
They didn't make it NXT.
Like it's not any different. It's really not. So.
And just a side note...
And I tried to like it. I watched the first few weeks.
Oh, yeah. But just a side note, like, they had the freaking... European guys come in, the United Kingdom guys come in and make an appearance on 205 Live. It's like, okay, what's that about? They're not wrestling, they're not fighting, they're not doing anything. They're standing on a stage and waving or like freaking caressing their mustaches and stuff. It's like, put him in the ring. You've got a bruiserweight. Use him. Make him beat people up. At least pull him up to the new evolution. Something. Because right now you've just got 5 dudes that were standing. Was it 5? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 dudes that were just standing on the top of the entrance, just, hey, yeah, don't forget about us. Remember, we had that classic a while back, and that's the last time you saw me. Even the champion just came out. He had a smug look. Not even smug. He looked pissed. Like, really? I'm the United Kingdom champion, and all I'm doing is coming out and just waving like a good Englishman.
Absolutely.
And it sucked.
And do you realize how much these guys were working before they signed?
Exactly.
And like you just said, the guy hasn't really done much of anything. I mean, he may have. Maybe they let him, finish out his indie dates or whatever. But if not, I mean, because I heard that they were actually cutting people's indie dates short to get them under contract. If not, this guy's literally just been sitting there since that tour was over.
Oh, yeah.
Making
money doing nothing. And unfortunately to me...
Hey, let's sign here to not wrestle. And I'm a pro wrestler.
And yeah, if you're just after the money, cool, whatever. Hey, I'm earning a paycheck just chilling.
Yeah.
But to me, I think those guys actually enjoy what they do. Mm-hmm. And to not be able to do what you do, it makes it look like, oh, the only reason why they signed me is because I was pulling attention away from them to something else.
And I think there's a lot of that going on. They sign people because they don't want other people to have them.
Welcome back, Drew McIntyre.
Right. By the way, I saw somewhere they stripped his music. What the fuck? That was like one of the best parts of his character was his entrance music.
Because he's going to be a face now. They're going
to have him be a face with their music was just shit.
It was, but can you see a happy-go-lucky, like, I'm supposed to be the positive guy, woo, coming out to that song? No. It was perfect whenever he was the douche.
Yeah, he could be a tweener. He could be a more charismatic Randy Orton, because Randy Orton is boring as fuck.
I don't know why they gave. Anyways, let's stay on track. We'll get to Randy Orton later. What's the next match?
Okay, Vince is out at the 8 o'clock hour.
Yep.
And Vince's face was priceless when the crowd chanted Roman sucks at him. I thought that was awesome.
And then he kept trying to change the subject, and they just kept doing it to him.
Yeah, you know what they were chanting. Vince said it's time to shake things up. I don't know what that means. Is it a possible draft or trade? I don't think we've gotten any clarification on that, really.
We'll learn Monday.
Vince says Stephanie's gone for a while to a thunderous response.
Thank God. I mean, I was doing that too.
People seem sick of Steph, and I do not blame him. It's been fucking the authority for like 4 years.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It's stupid.
Vince introduces Kurt Angle as the new Raw GM. Shout out to Salamash for calling that months and months ago. He called that as soon as Mick got in as GM, and he called them being able to use Kurt the next year because he figured that he was the only one left that hadn't come back home. And he said, once he does the stuff for the game, maybe he can become Raw GM after Mick Foley inevitably gets fired by Stephanie. And what the hell did we just see? So he called that shit like fucking, August or September?
Oh, yeah, good job. But I'm happy. I'm happy Kurt's back.
I'm happy Kurt's back. He looked happy as hell to be back. He's wanted this.
And he's still got that great personality.
He's got great timing. He's just...
good charisma. I mean, even the whole segment he had with Sami Zayn made my skin crawl.
Yes. And by the way, look at how they're... See, you can tell a lot by how WWE looks at people, by how the type of shit they book them in.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'll throw back to the old Natalia gimmick of her farting. That should tell you everything that you need to know about how attractive they think Natalia is.
Oh, yeah.
Look at how they have Sami Zayn acting right now. And
like
tell you exactly
what teacher's
they think
pet. He's a freaking teacher's
Zayn.
pet.
Just the nerdy fucking... Get out of here, guy. Like, you see Kurt's face?
You know how me and Mick Foley, we were close, right? Because I want our relationship. Dude, why are you even calling it a relationship with a grown-ass man? Why can't you say, hey, well, I would like this business opportunity that we have here for you to realize that I'm a good commodity for Raw. Not, can I please, stand behind you and take notes? Like, what's his name? From the Recess, Miss Finster's little snitch. Oh, I will remember his name at some point and yell it out randomly. I'll bet you.
What has happened to Sami Zayn since he beat Kevin Owens in that one-on-one match? What was it, SummerSlam last year?
Yeah, they buried him, dude.
And look at the career trajectory of Owens, and then look at Zayn, and realize Zayn won that. I think Zayn won that match, and the next pay-per-view he didn't even have a match, or he was on the pre-show or some goofy tag match or something. And then
he
Owens
was struggling for a match.
It's what happened here? Like
they push heels. They push good heels a lot better than they push small faces.
I don't think they see anything in Zayn, to be honest.
That's the thing. They don't. Vince McMahon doesn't utilize him because Sami Zayn, he's not physically attractive. Truthfully, he's not like the handsomest guy out there. Granted, I don't have much room to talk, but hey, whatever. I mean, shit.
I completely believe that, though, because he didn't want to. He thought Christian was so ugly. Did you ever hear the story about him wanting to put a dot over Christian's face because he thought it was so ugly?
Yeah, that shit. I mean, it's just stupid. It's like.
So I could completely believe something ridiculous like that, but
I mean, you judge him just because of what he looks like immediately. Okay, he wears the flannel type pants. He wears that little jacket.
Cab driver hat.
Exactly. And he comes out and from the get-go, I mean, he almost, I would say John Cena's it. He gets beat the crap up at the very beginning, and he has no energy through like 15 minutes of this match, and then the last 3 minutes it's a toss-up because he gets his energy back, but you still don't know if he's gonna lose or if he's gonna win, because he comes back and he hits him with the exploder and oh my god, haluva, and then he just gets popped up, powerbombed, and you're like, really, Sammy? You kept all of that in the tank for reserve for this very moment, and you came up short. You got your ass handed to you the entire match for this one moment, and you came up short.
That's what they see him as, basically. Is he's a guy that, you know, he's over with the fans. He can sell his ass off, but they won't put. I think he could, you know, he'll get an Intercontinental Championship or U.S. title run eventually, but as far as a World Championship contender, like a lot of people want him to be, that's just not happening.
It's not.
That won't happen.
Unless he makes some weird, drastic change that I don't see coming, because I don't really see them pushing him as a heel, because he's not really a good heel. He's not very good at trash talking.
I wouldn't think so.
I wouldn't see him bullying people. I mean, it'd be like, yeah, get out of here, and then the kid that he's picking on would just punch him in the jaw and be like, back off. I mean, he would pick on James Ellsworth. That's what I would see happening.
By the way, who's that? I was watching What Culture for Wrestling, right? Their little YouTube channel, and they said that James Ellsworth. Have you ever seen the X-Men Beak? I wish my phone was charged up, dude. He looks exactly like the X-Men Beak. Get a picture of James Ellsworth, and then go and look at this character on Google search or some shit. He looks exactly like Beak. It's ridiculous. And I was like, holy shit. But yeah. Side note there.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on from Kurt. Happy Kurt's back.
Oh, yeah.
And he'll do a great job. And hopefully he will be back in the ring.
That's true.
I think that's what we all want to see, is him in the ring.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I want you to angle slam one more person and break somebody's ankle besides that dude that on Good Morning America or whatnot that had to go get some ice pack because Kurt Angle just was like, whoop, whoop, tweaked it twice. Yeah. And he was like, oh, I'll be back. I'm gone.
That was the guy on ESPN.
Oh, ESPN? Yeah. Okay. I didn't know which one it was, but yeah, that shit was funny.
Okay, so we got New Day was out after that. They were dressed like the Road Warriors, except for instead of spikes coming out of their shoulder pads, they had ice cream cones.
Because they are really trying to get they're pissing off CM Punk is what they're doing. Look, we got popsicles.
I guess whatever it takes to stay relevant, man. How happy am I for Xavier Woods or just anybody like that? You could tell he put so much of himself into that gimmick. There's no way their writers are creative enough to come up with the shit that New Day does.
Not at all.
So that's all him.
I mean, at one point in time, he probably just walked up to Vince and was like, Vince, give me 3 minutes to just pitch something to you. If you laugh, will you please let me run with it? And he probably came out with some off-the-wall shit and made Vince chuckle. And that's how he got it.
You heard that's about how it happened, right? When they were doing New Day initially and it wasn't getting over, I think they all went up to him and because they knew it wasn't going to get over. I don't know. Like, you remember how New Day was. They were fucking a church choir or whatever the fuck they were supposed to be.
Uh-huh.
And they knew it wasn't going to get over. And they went to Vince and they said, look, we'll try this your way. And if it doesn't work, can we try some things our way? And he agreed to that. And then when it tanked, which they knew it would, that's when the New Day began to form how we see it now.
Preacher E was getting on my nerves.
Yeah.
Granted, he still talks that way.
But that's part of the shtick.
Exactly, with the emphasis and stuff like that, and I'm fine with that. But whenever he was just trying to be like all rebuking people and all this other crap, it was just
all Devon Dudley circa 2002 or whatever.
Oh, my brother!
Yeah,
testify with Batista as his freaking
Devon,
with his Batista with that collection box or whatnot.
He just walked around angry with a box.
Didn't do anything. Every now and then he might hit you in the head with the collection box, but that was about it. That was before Batista became relevant for a few years.
So New Day's out, and they issue an open challenge after deciding it was time to get back to doing what they do best.
Mm-hmm.
And who answers this open challenge but the Revival, making their main roster debut. And boy, am I happy about that.
And it was a good match.
Yeah.
It was a great finish.
Well, the Revival is incapable of having a bad match.
I mean,
let's keep it real here.
Okay, I'll give you that.
They are the best tag team on the planet.
They are the top guys.
So, as similar to another duo. So, they make their main roster debut. They work over the arm and the shoulder of Xavier Woods. And at some point, like he always has to do, Big E decides he wants to kill himself by doing a dive outside the ring. Why does he do this?
I'm waiting for the day that we see a video and it's like back to back where Lita does it and then Big E does it and it looks the same, where he just scorpions and smacks the back of his head.
This man is determined to become a paraplegic. Like, it's ridiculous.
I think he's trying to show the ladies how flexible he is. You know, he's always gyrating and everything and sticking his tongue out. I mean, maybe he's just like, look, baby, I can get you in a position you ain't never been in before. Woo!
Oh, my God. Shatter Machine to Woods.
No. Shatter Machine to Woods as he's doing his honor roll. That shit was awesome.
Yeah.
Let's not play that down. He was coming for it and got it all. He just took it straight to the face. It was great.
Well, I mean, I think the Shatter Machine is honestly my favorite tag team finisher of all time.
It is.
It used to be the Deadly Death Drop, but the Shatter Machine, it just looks vicious every time I hit it.
It does. And then what do they do after? They fuck up Kofi's leg.
Top guy things. That's
just,
what they do.
Man, just vicious. I like it. They're going to have a good impact on Raw. I'm pretty sure at one point in time, if the Hardys are allowed to be champions for a while, they'll probably come out and try to fuck with the Hardys for a bit. I don't think they would beat the Hardys this quickly for a tag team championship.
No.
I think Hardys might possibly lose to Enzo and Cass, unfortunately.
I don't think so. I don't think for a while if it happens.
Well, if I don't think they're going to lose for a while. I'm praying that they don't lose for a while.
And you have to think how they think, because they're not going to put two face tag teams in there against each other. So the Revival could be matching up with the Hardys quicker than we think.
They could. You got that right. But, I mean, they have done face matches before.
They do them every now and then, but they usually like to stick to their formula.
But you got Enzo and Cass, who they're trying to give that solid push. If they beat the Hardys and it's a respectful handshake afterwards, maybe that's the push they need. I don't know. I think it might be at least SummerSlam before Enzo and Cass get a title run. And I don't even know, because it's like every time you think Enzo and Cass are just going to get there, they just... Well, let's keep it real. They would have gotten those titles last Sunday if it wasn't for the Hardys. Yeah. And even that was it was still a nail biter. As soon as they popped out that curtain, I was like, woo! And I even said it. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if they just came out, walked up them ladders, and grabbed them titles?
Yeah.
And it was just, whew.
I did not think that they were going to win, but I thought that they would probably be, like one of the last two, fighting, and one of maybe Jeff Hardy gets kicked off a ladder. And
yeah.
I did not expect them to come out of night one and just take the belt.
I didn't either, but whew, I'm happy for it.
So what do we got here? After the match, Revival worked over. They got themselves over a bit more by attacking Kofi's leg. I thought it was a good debut, and we'll see where that goes. Decent Enzo and Cass segment with Kurt Angle was next.
Yeah.
Thought that was okay. Nothing much to it. Just
not really, but
like I said, Kurt's timing is great.
And then at the end of it, and he's sitting there just smiling, and all of a sudden he looks confused, and he goes, "That's not how you spell soft." It's like, I appreciate that, Kurt. That's nice. Somebody has finally called him, because nobody since NXT has said shit about that's not how you spell soft.
I think Corey Graves will take a shot at him every now and then because he hates him.
I have never, and granted, he might have, and if you have, cool, but I have never heard him say, and they can't even spell soft. Like, I have heard no commentator or opponent say that they were spelling soft wrong until Kurt Angle, and I'm pretty sure that shit would have stuck out because I've been waiting for it. I'm like, they have been spelling this wrong from day one. If I'm a heel, that's where I attack first. You can't even spell soft. Come on now.
Yeah, but he'll get his. That guy's gonna have a job with this company for a long time just because of his mouth.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Even if he's just like a Paul Heyman type, just becomes a manager for a little bit.
He would actually be a great manager. He'd be a great manager for somebody that couldn't speak English. Like, he could get you over.
Oh, yeah. Nakamura?
Yeah. That would actually be, I don't know, that'd be interesting to see.
It would be, because they're both charismatic and quite out there.
But anyway, we learn Enzo and Cass, they have a number one contenders match against Sheamus and Cesaro later in the show. Next, we have a 6-woman tag match. It was a decent match. Emma returns as a heel, as she should be. Dana Brooke as a face, which I don't know how that's going to work. Because I don't really find her to be cheerable.
Dana Brooke, to me, is always going to be the popular girl's best friend. She's not the pretty girl who sticks out. She's not the smartest girl out there. She's not the most charismatic, but
she botches the most.
Exactly, but because she's best friends with the popular girl at the time, then she's somewhat...
Or she's dating a guy in creative. I read that before I read that she was dating Dawson.
But did you not see the match? She was even sitting there like, "Yeah, Becky, we did this, didn't we? Woo! Becky, woo! I'm your friend." And it's like, Becky was like, "Get off me, girl. What the hell?" I
look like Miss Piggy.
Exactly. Where's Kermit the Frog when you need him to take her porky ass back to the bag?
I don't buy her as a face, and I think she messes up too much, honestly, to be because you know the crowds now these days, they will call you out for fucking up, and I think she'll get called out, and she's not going to be believable as a babyface.
That's why they're not working her in singles matches.
Yeah.
Because in tag team matches, you don't have to do much. If you mess up once, quickly get your ass out of the ring and let somebody who knows what they're doing do it. But if they put her in singles matches, it's going to be a whole new Eva Marie just without the red hair. Because Eva Marie couldn't work a match.
Well, see, the difference, though, is Eva Marie was at least a gorgeous woman, so they knew why she had a job.
At least
Dana Brooke is not gorgeous.
She's strong.
Yeah,
and she can lift.
But because she's not gorgeous, she won't get that nuclear heat. So what she'll end up getting is indifference.
Mm-hmm. She'll just fester.
Right.
She'll be that just stinky turd that's just out there that every now and then you walk by and you're like,
she'll be
gone away yet.
She'll be the chick that gets squashed eventually. Honestly, this will end up happening. So anyway. Sasha gets the win with the bank statement on Charlotte, and Charlotte taps, which stunned me because I know how high they are on Charlotte, but it was obviously for purposes. After the match, Charlotte begins to bitch out Emma and Nia Jax, And Emma bounces, and Nia beats the hell out of Charlotte.
Haven't you ever noticed how every single time Charlotte's in a match, if she wins or loses, the camera has to see Charlotte at the end of the match? She could have lost. She'll be outside the ring, kneeling down. Oh, I lost. And the camera's like, let's catch that moment. But other chicks, they won't do that all the time.
Right.
Sasha Banks, every now and then, she walks off, and Charlotte's the only one in the ring. You don't get to go back and pan over there and see Sasha sitting there like, oh, darn it, I lost again. Granted, they'll do it a lot more for her than they would Nia. But that's because Nia's a bigger girl. Unfortunately, WWE is very looks prone. Yeah. Which, to me, I saw the whole bathing suit shot that Nia put out, and I'll be honest, Nia's cute to me. I think she's sexy. I mean, I'm not going to say she is the fittest or most model-esque type that they put out there for people to believe in, but she doesn't look bad at all. She carries her weight very well.
But here's my argument to that. Yes, she's a pretty woman, especially for a bigger woman, but the problem with that is it almost creates an identity crisis for her, because it's like, what are you trying to push her as? Is she supposed to be Awesome Kong? Because Awesome Kong didn't have the "I'm not like most girls." Her theme music wasn't, trying to fit in. Her theme music was, "I'm going to murder you. I'm going to eat your children," and she was a monster. I don't get monster a lot of times. They cake so much makeup on her face. It's like, all right, do you want her to be a beauty queen? Or do you want her to be a monster? Do you want her to come in and destroy people?
That's why I say put her with somebody like Neville. Make her some fascinating heels queen. I believe she could come out in some sort of don't laugh at her because this is horrible, but Shredder type outfit. But could you imagine her just coming out there? Say Neville's getting ganged up on by 3 cruiserweights. She can toss them fuckers around. She'll pick them up and throw them. Get out of here. You're messing with my king. Then, even if you put the makeup on her, you're putting her in there to beat the crap out of anyone, man or woman. She's protective.
I think her presentation is very. It leaves a lot to be desired.
Well, I mean,
look at it this way. We just had one of the most protected gimmicks in the history of that company. Just ended Sunday. Could you imagine how less intimidating Undertaker would be if he came out to some theme music that wasn't the gong, that didn't have the gong in the beginning, that didn't have.
Keep rolling.
That still had the gong somewhere in that song, though.
No.
Yeah, it did.
Not whenever it was just the Limp Bizkit song.
Yes, it did.
It did?
Yes.
It had the gong in there?
It started, it had footsteps at the beginning, and then you'd hear the gong, and then you'd hear the rolling part.
Okay.
He's had it in the song.
One gong is not the same as his regular music.
It isn't, but also at the same time, how long did it take to establish The Undertaker as a killer before you let him do that shit?
That's why I'm saying
she's not established as that yet. I look at Asuka as more of a monster than Nia Jax.
Well, yeah, because they established her.
Because she's
she comes
protected.
out and beats the crap out of people.
Because she's protected. Look what they did to Nia at WrestleMania. She was the first one out. And they think they helped her.
I know. And that's
by having, all the chicks, triple team her.
No.
And then pin her.
They didn't.
You can't beat her.
No, it would have been better if she would have kicked out of all 3 and at least pinned one of them. She would have gone out looking a lot better.
Or you have Charlotte. Was there disqualification in that match?
No.
Have Charlotte pick up a kendo stick and hit her with it, because she's tried everything and it's not working. We have to get her out of the match.
And that's why...
Or maybe she tries to hit her with it and misses, and then Nia picks it up and hits her with it, just as a fuck you.
And that's why I'm saying, if you put
There's ways to protect her that they're not doing.
But if you put her...
And her theme music is god-awful.
It really is. And that's why...
And it's not a monster's theme music.
No, it's not. If you want her to come out and you want her to beat the crap out of people, throw people around, and just, truthfully, how she puts herself out there in the ring where she looks straight in the camera and punches her fist. That's why I'm saying put her with a cruiserweight. Put her as either the heel girlfriend, the heel queen, or something for a cruiserweight and pummel through dudes. Pick 2 dudes up at a time because I know she can do it. Don't act like she can't pick up Brian Kendrick and TJ Perkins at the same damn time. She could probably body slam one and then Samoan drop the other one and just be perfectly fine. But if you had her coming out and do that, and like Neville just looks at her like, what are you doing? But then they form an alliance and it's just tear through people. And Neville comes out for like one of her matches and is a good distraction and helps her pick up a good win. And Nia just annihilates that chick and just put it through, because I think with having Neville, who went from not really having a good place in WWE to holy crap, what did they do with this guy? They did a great job. I think he could give her some advice to, this is how you look more vicious. Go ahead and do this, because I swear to you, it's going to get you to the point where people are like, she's just ruthless. And that's what she needs right now. She needs to be ruthless.
I think, I don't know. I like I said, I'll go back to presentation, man. I think she's presented completely wrong. And they haven't really, they're doing too much of both, and they need to pick a side here. Mm-hmm. It's kind of the same thing with Roman, where you can't have him come out acting like a heel, but you want him to be a babyface because it just creates indifference. Like I said, I don't really feel like she's being presented correctly, and until they fix that, I kind of don't care about Nia, and the crowd doesn't either.
No, they don't.
They
and that really
they
does
could
suck.
give a fuck. Yeah, it does suck.
I think Nia could go places if they would just.
I think again, Nia should be in NXT. Dana Brooke should be in NXT. They did these call ups way too soon last year.
Well, because they see them get hype.
Some of them were green, but some of them had not established themselves yet. And if you want a nice look at who I'm talking about with that one, go to Apollo Crews. Where is his career? His career has been in the toilet since he got called up to the main roster.
And Ascension.
Oh, yeah.
But Ascension even established themselves.
But, well, the Ascension, they've been over for years. They're just stealing money at this point.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know, man. Presentation is the big deal with her. Like, if she could easily be, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter how many job chicks you destroy if you're not presented correctly.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving right along, we got Brock out at the 9 o'clock hour. Heyman talks about vanquishing Goldberg, much to the crowd's delight. The crowd thanks Brock, which I laughed at. Heyman turns his attention to Roman Reigns, which the crowd shits their pants at and does not want anything to do with.
No. Nothing.
The crowd, when Heyman starts to chant, when Heyman starts to talk about Roman Reigns, they start to chant for Finn Balor. A little bit of foreshadowing there. Heyman no-sells us and keeps going. Braun Strowman's music hits, and the crowd goes insane. Braun says that Roman has Brock's attention, and he said maybe after tonight, Brock will have, or Braun will have Roman's attention. Yeah, I can't fucking speak. I can't read my notes correctly. They stare down for a while, then Braun leaves, and the crowd chants "pussy" toward Braun. But I mean, there's no reason to chant pussy toward, but they have. I mean, come on, you know how wrestling works. They have to stretch this out. They have to get this to a pay-per-view. So,
oh yeah,
or it might even not even be the next pay-per-view. It might be
he's not
SummerSlam.
Brock's not going to be at the next pay-per-view.
Exactly. So yeah, why would we waste it tonight? So,
which again brings back the whole thing, which we haven't really talked about, seeing as how this is our first episode. Part-timers holding championships and then disappearing.
Don't care for it.
It's crap. I mean, isn't it in
if
the clause?
If your name's not The Undertaker, I really don't care for part-timers at all.
No. It's retarded.
I think it shits all over your full-time workers. I think it kills their ability to grow as performers. It also, when you have a situation like what you had with Goldberg and Kevin Owens a few months ago, I understand why they were doing it, and I understand why it had to happen the way it did. But what I don't like is that, yet again, we have another dude from the Attitude Era destroying another guy from this era. And if I'm a casual fan and I'm, say, 10 or 12 years old, all I'm going to think is, well, the dudes from this era fucking suck. Why do I even care about those guys?
Pretty much. And then that's how you get part-time viewers.
And that's how you go years without creating stars.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why none of these guys basically are looked at as stars.
Nope. Because you're too busy idolizing the past. Too busy making sure that people from days gone by look bigger and better, like they're pretty much like they're titans.
Too busy trying to get the quick buck rather than long-term storytelling.
Because that's all it is about right now, is just getting the money quick.
And I understand that the fans these days have a 5-second attention span. But so what? Fuck them. Make something, as long as you can make something interesting, which, I mean, they can't a lot of times because there's too many cooks in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you can make something interesting, and it actually is legitimately interesting, don't bail on some plans. Don't bring back someone from 20 years ago to get a quick buck. Build these guys up, because eventually what's going to happen is these guys that you can't keep bringing back from 20 years ago, eventually they're going to have happen to them what just happened to The Undertaker. They're going to be too old to do it, and then you're going to be stuck with all these guys that you shit on for years and had these fucking guys that were 20, 25 years older than them go over them like they were nothing, and you're going to force a crowd who has basically been subtly told not to give a shit about these guys. Oh, we should care about this guy now. Why?
Yeah.
You just spent 10 years telling me it was shit.
Yeah.
Why would I care?
It's just confusing. Don't know why people don't have a reason to actually progress forward. Instead, it's kind of like in a video game. Instead of actually taking your character from level 1 and building them all the way up, you're just like, I'm going to pay the money, and I'm going to go ahead and skip to level 100 and just bring this character in. And then the whole time you're staring at the screen because you don't know what really to do. So you take time off because you're confused and you don't really understand anything. And then you come back to it and you're like, maybe I'll be able to get something from here. And then no, nothing really comes of it. So then you let it go. But you always could have had something better if you actually start from the beginning and build up.
Absolutely.
But they don't want to build up. There is no need to build up because they have the Brock Lesnar's that will come back, and Triple H is still going to come back, and John Cena's gone now for a little bit, but he'll come back at some point. And
it's a dumb way to look at that, though.
It really is.
I mean, people can only take that shit for so long before they start tuning out. And if you look at what's happening in these ratings on USA, people in massive droves have been tuning out over the last few years. And they are doing... People have been turning out, as a whole since, 2001?
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're still trying to get those fans back. But
look at the biggest characters they have right now. AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens. All of them made names before they came to WWE. When they hit the NXT...
For as much as they like to suck their own dick about that performance center, how many of those stars have they actually made?
Exactly. Very few. Very few. Very, very few. I don't know. Did they make Dash and Dawson? I think Dawson started with NXT, or at least he might have been in like a very small independent. I'll have to check that out.
I'd have to look it up. I know Roman's from there, I do believe.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, Nakamura, Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Cassius Ohno, all of them.
All these guys.
Bobby Roode.
Started elsewhere, yep.
Asuka. Mm-hmm. It's just crazy. It's like, they want to take credit for the smart kids' straight A's.
Okay, so we got after all this goes down with Brock, we got Jericho in the back cutting a promo, and he puts Kevin Owens' finger on the list for getting him out of that loss in WrestleMania, which I thought was hilarious. Owens attacks, and along with Samoa Joe, Michael Cole says that Seth Rollins will have to get a new tag team partner from Kurt Angle because Jericho is too hurt to go. When the tag team match that was shown right before this segment happened would be, at the time, was Jericho and Seth Rollins versus Samoa Joe and Kevin Owens. So, you know, I already knew who was going to come back. I already had it in my head it was coming back when this happened.
I mean, it was obvious.
So I was just waiting to hear the music when finally the match happens later. A little bit more foreshadowing there. Number one contenders match for the tag team titles. Sheamus's eye looked fucking terrible. Holy shit!
Yeah,
I saw that when it happened a week ago at that time. I didn't realize how bad it was going to look a week later. Dude, that shit looks terrible.
Oh yeah, it split open.
Fans could not have given a shit about this. Random chants were going on during the match. Enzo was getting worked over as he always does. Big Cass gets the hot tag as he always does. There were actually boos for Enzo and Cass in this match.
Well, I mean,
I think people are getting sick of Enzo.
Well, because here's the problem with it. You start off, you bring in Enzo and Cass. As soon as their music hits the first debut, woo! Woo! And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, yeah, they're getting in a big tag team match, going to go for the championship. They're about to get it. And then they're shit on. And then you're like, okay, that's cool. They're trying to build them up for WrestleMania. We got this. We're going to build. And then they get shit on. And so then we're building them up for SummerSlam. All right, we got them for SummerSlam. Woo, this is it. And they got shot on. And what happened at WrestleMania? The Hardys came back. Much love. And they got shat on. I mean, unfortunately, WWE has the problem of, we're going to bring in these people. These people are going to be hot, and we know it, and we're going to drag it out for fucking ever. We're never going to give them a tag team title because they're still hot. But nowadays, it doesn't work because people get bored. Mm-hmm. I've been sitting here and cheering for these people for 2 years now. Why haven't they won? They didn't win in NXT either. What's going on? Now I'm bored because my team always loses. Sorry, but when your favorite team is the Browns, you get pissed off real quick because you keep going, this is the year the Browns got it, and no, the Browns got browned.
My best friend is actually a fan of the Browns.
And he probably hates it. He's like, yeah, we're going to have a great year. By the end of the year, he's like, fuck this shit, man. I know it is because whenever you lose constantly, you just get pissed off.
Okay, so anyway, we got, like I said, boos for Enzo and Cass. Sheamus's eye gets ripped open after he hit a bro kick to stop the rocket launcher. I'm not saying what they call that move actually because it's fucking stupid.
Come on now. Come on. I'll do it for you. You want me to do it for you?
You go right ahead.
Boom shakalaka.
No, it's the bada boom.
Oh yeah, my bad. I forgot the bada. Much love, Michael Cole.
Oh,
not really. You need to stop that.
I get AIDS every time Michael Cole says that.
Just call it the rocket launcher. Instead of the Tope Suicina, just call it a tornado suicide dive, whatever. God. You'll try to reinvent crap and it ends up becoming just crap.
Enzo gets thrown off the top rope, going for the rocket launcher, into a Cesaro uppercut, and that's how the match ends. Sheamus and Cesaro, the number one contenders for the tag team titles.
So, quick question. Who's going to win, the Hardys or Cesaro and Sheamus?
Oh, you know who's winning that. Come on.
I hope the Hardys win.
You know who's winning that damn match.
I hope they don't screw them again.
Oh. Okay.
Well, I mean, it's true because it's possible. Yeah, we're going to have him win and we're going to have him retain. Then the first pay-per-view that they defend him, we're going to make him lose. WWE has a problem with that. I think the Hardys should run for a little bit. Give them 3 months.
Oh, they will. They will.
Hopefully.
They'll give him, they'll give him a while. I think they wouldn't have had him win night one if they weren't going to give him a little bit.
Okay. That makes me feel a little bit better because that's what I was hoping. But I know how they like to shit on my hopes and dreams. So I don't ever really just have good faith in WWE. Charlie, you better calm down. Punch you.
All right, so next match, and I've been waiting to say this on the podcast because it's one of the funniest things that I hear listening to my favorite podcasts. Shout out to Don Choney. Jinder My Balls versus Sami Zayn. Jinder Mahal versus Sami Zayn. Some meaningless segment. Jinder looked about 7 feet tall compared to Kurt Angle when they were standing in the back next to each other. Did you see that? What did they do to Kurt?
Was
Kurt 6 feet tall? It looked like Jinder Mahal is legit like 6'9". I know he's not that tall.
Maybe he was trying to make himself taller.
Or did you hear about that stupid shit they do with Tom Phillips in the back where they make him
Kneel?
they make him stand with his legs spread so he appears shorter.
Yeah, duh.
That's so fucking stupid. Why did they do that? He's like 6 feet tall.
Because you can't have a commentator or a ring announcer who is towering over one of your WWE superstars. It makes your superstars look small.
Okay, I've literally seen him interviewing Sasha Banks and be shorter than Sasha Banks. That's ridiculous.
You can't interview a WWE superstar and be taller than them.
Sasha Banks is like 5'2" and 100 pounds.
You
should not be shorter than Sasha Banks.
But the first rule of Vinceology is you cannot be a commentator and be taller than a WWE. It doesn't matter if he happened to host a midget wrestling night on Raw. Tom Phillips would go and interview, a little person, and he would probably just be laying down on the ground, just on his back holding the mic up.
Dude, I just said that Michael Cole's commentary gives me A's. I think you're okay. I think you're in the clear there.
I don't, it's not like you always want to offend people. And if I catch it, I'll say, hey, you know what? I'll try to be a little sensitive. Just a little.
Let's see, I just don't give a fuck. That's just me.
I understand. Every now and then, though, unfortunately, my mama puts some sort of gene in me where I feel like I have to say, you know what? I'll refer to you as a little person.
So this is a quick match. Jinder gets a lot of offense in, but eventually, like he always does, job guy to the stars. He eats a whole of a kick.
Well, it was the same thing for Sammy, too. Sammy got his ass kicked for the entire damn match, had his 3 minutes of fame back at the end of it, and woo, haluva kick, it's over. He actually connected this time.
But here's the difference. Sammy, that's his gimmick, is getting his ass kicked for 96% of the match. And he won because Jinder Mahal is just that much more of a job guy.
But that's Jinder's job, is to be a jobber.
I would love to see a match between Jinder Mahal and Kurt Hawkins, and I think the time-space continuum would rip, and no one. I think it'd be a tie. They both lose.
I think, truthfully, that they would probably book it that way to where they both hit each other with a strong right hand, and they fall with their arms spread out, one over the other, and the referee just double counts it, and it's a draw. I could see that shit happening just to piss us all off.
Kurt Angle spoke about Sami Zayn having the 3 eyes. Whatever. I don't know.
It was horrible because you can't. Whenever I hear the 3 eyes, I see Kurt Angle.
Exactly.
And Kurt Angle is a man's man. Don't get me wrong. He can joke and he can be funny, and that's fine. A man can be that way, but whenever a man is sitting there trying to suck the nuts of the man he's supposedly wanting to get into a relationship with, and you have the 3 eyes, you're pretty much writing off on this guy saying, I give you the Kurt Angle stamp of approval. When people look at you, they'll see me, and that makes me sad for Kurt.
Exactly.
Because Kurt, you might have sucked up from Vince from time to time in the past, but when you did it, it was always as a joke. it was always a comedy skit. It was never something so serious as to, this just looks like your character. This just seems to be who you are. We would all sit there and look at you as you're playing that little guitar and your little bitty goofy cowboy hat, sitting there trying to sing for Vince and Stone Cold, trying to get on their good side, and I will laugh about that. I will not sit there and thank Teacher's Pet, but I cannot help but thank Teacher's Pet with Sami Zayn, and it gets on my nerves.
I think they're just looking for things for Sammy to do at this point. He just, I don't know. He's not Dean Ambrose level on my shit list, because Dean Ambrose is, only thing I can compare it to is Dean Ambrose has his own level.
Oh, we got Smackdown to cover next.
Yes, we do.
And we'll get to that. I'm happy about that.
Woo! He's dropped so far for me, but I'm struggling to give a shit about Sammy at this point. Yeah. Anyway, on to the main event. So, to no one's shock, Finn Balor returns as Seth Rollins' tag team partner.
Mm-hmm. Good pop in the crowd.
Absolutely, great pop. I put down here that I smelled a rat initially, and I was happy that it didn't happen, but I did initially. I was like, okay, Kevin Owens, Triple H guy. Samoa Joe, Triple H guy. Finn Balor, Triple H guy. Seth Rollins, former Triple H guy. I was like, watch your back, Seth, but it didn't turn out like that. There was a lot of Seth got his knee worked over in the match like you knew he was going to. Finn got the hot tag, goes crazy in the ring, and the finish came when Owens hit Rollins with a super kick, which the distracted Owens got caught with a drop kick and followed by the coup de grace. And I was kind of shocked that Finn actually got the pin in this match. I didn't think he'd come right out, and I don't know what I thought was going to happen, but I didn't think that he would just come right out and just straight beat Kevin Owens like that. But that's exactly what happened.
Okay. They're either going to, because he was the first Universal Champion, and they were already like, this dude's going to be the god of Raw for a while. And then Seth Rollins accidentally fucked up his shoulder.
Right.
So that plan got squashed. So, of course, they got to bring him back hot. They're not going to bring him back in for a slow burn. And two things. Either he's going to come back hot and he's going to fight his way back up for a Universal Championship real quick. Or, as you said, watch your back, Seth Rollins. Because it's just like when Shield went up against Evolution and Seth Rollins and all them beat him. And then the next night on Raw, what happened? Seth Rollins beat them all in the back with a chair and turned over to Evolution. Maybe this is part of the plan. Maybe it's, hey, let's make it look like Seth Rollins is going to be great. Yeah, next pay-per-view, he's going to screw over Seth Rollins because it's going to be another tag match.
I don't know.
For some odd reason, Triple H has a really weird thing about just screwing people over. That's his favorite go-to move. And it's noticeable in Randy Orton's promo. If you can't beat him, join him. Right. When you join him, screw him over. I'm sorry, but that was the worst. I did not like that at all.
Like you said, we'll get
we'll get it because he does mention that too.
I wrote at the end of this. Finn and Seth were staring each other down, and for a prolonged period of time, like I thought it was just kind of kudos, but it looked like they almost were hitting that maybe something's coming to that. Rollins at the end raises Finn's hand, so we'll see what happens.
And with the Superstar shakeup,
Finn could go to Smackdown, or I've been hearing AJ going to Raw. I don't want that.
Yeah, especially after the whole AJ saying Smackdown is his and everything. I don't see him doing that. I would hope that they wouldn't do that because that would be kind of shitty of them. I could, however, see Gallows and Anderson going to SmackDown.
Yeah, well, it just depends. I think. Do you think that they'll put AJ and Gallows and Anderson on the same show? I think they probably should.
I mean, they haven't dropped the club.
Right.
It's not like they're trying to make them different. AJ Styles still comes out, does the Wolfpack whatever thing, NWO thing. So does Gallows and Anderson. So does Finn Balor. Mm-hmm. What if they try to make him like the next Four Horsemen or something?
I actually heard rumors that Finn was going to come back as a heel, and they're already looking at turning AJ face, and basically had Balor come out and act like everything was still good, and then Gallows and Anderson come out, and it's like a reunion, except they all three turn on AJ.
And that would still be awesome too.
And they form finally the Balor Club.
That would be cool. I would like that.
I don't know.
At least do something with it, because right now you've got the Balor Club and you've got the club, and it's like, but there is no club. It's a tag team and one fucking dude. They're not the same. It's like, do something with it or drop the monikers. There's no need to call Finn Balor Club Balor or Balor Club if there is no club. One person does not make a club.
I wonder if they would have already gone ahead with this plan if he had not gotten hurt. I would think so.
It's possible. I would believe so. Which is why I'm hoping they actually do something with that.
All right. So let's get into to Smackdown the next night.
I actually got a lot more about this.
Do you?
Oh yeah, I love Smackdown.
All right, so we got. I said Randy Orton starts the show off to audible boos, and it was loud,
and rightfully so. He shouldn't have won at WrestleMania.
No, he shouldn't have.
You build Bray Wyatt to. He's finally the champion, and it's going to be the era of Wyatt, and greatness. Well, darkness shall reign, and then all of a sudden, the whole stupid. If you can't beat them, join them, and when you join them, screw them. It was like, why did you let that win? Right. Especially even during the match, you had all the maggots and crap that every time he did his little creepy head thing, would appear on the ring.
Which was the shits. That was so bad.
It was, but if you're going to go that far with somebody and make them lose, what was the point in going that far?
It's WWE, dude. There's no point to a lot of things. You know why? Because fuck you, that's why.
It's just stupid.
Cuts a promo only to be interrupted by Bray. Bray challenged him to a House of Horrors match, which I don't even know what that is. I don't think anyone knows what that is.
I don't either. I just think it's going to be a lot of pictures of Eric Rowan, making his different faces, and you have to make it through the maze without giving up.
Eric Rowan's faces and Luke Harper's eye, just
the
goofy look he gives.
Yeah. Yep.
Orton accept despite not knowing what it is, which is complete. Just that's what we all do, right? We don't know what it is.
Exactly.
How fucking stupid was that? Tells Bray to come to the ring. Bray teleports because he has powers.
You didn't know that?
Yes.
Have you not been watching SmackDown?
He has powers, and he can teleport, and he can apparently teleport up the rampway like he did.
Dude, he can also make maggots encompass the entire ring. Those were real maggots, bro. Yeah. They were real.
And Hamburger Helper.
And they were worms, not Hamburger Helper.
Orton gets the upper hand on Bray once he comes out. Eric Rowan, the return of Eric Rowan, interferes.
And he brought along his Bioshock Lamb's mask.
Yeah, what the hell is that?
He's the reinvented Eric Rowan. Instead of the one with the stitches and crap, now the stitches have been removed and he's had to have half of his face replaced.
20 pounds heavier and I job twice as quick.
That's right. And did you notice where that breathing tube went? It went to his brain. So what actually is he breathing in?
New and improved job guy.
Yes, because I'll still lose matches like a champ.
They double team Orton for a while. Luke Harper's music hits. Harper makes the save.
Is Luke Harper not looking a little bit more lean?
Yes, he is. I was noticing that too.
Yeah, he doesn't look as trailer trashy. I like the black cutoff.
Yeah.
Or the black wife beater. I mean, it looks great. He's looking leaner. I like his hair back a little bit more.
I wish he'd get a complete new overhaul because that dude has so much talent.
He really does.
I would love to see him get a different gimmick. So because I know he's not really fond of doing the Wyatt stuff because he felt like he was kind of held back.
He was a backup singer.
And he shouldn't be because he's definitely he's as talented, if not more talented, than Bray in the ring.
I would say more talented. Unfortunately, Bray
has that charisma.
Well, he has the charisma, but his moves look more lazy. Like, he doesn't have to do as much movement.
I can see that.
I have to throw my body at you. Okay, I bounce off of a ring and jump and just whee! Or I sit here bent over and wait for you to run off the ropes to me so I can turn around and close on you real quick. Caught you by surprise. Even Sister Abigail, all it is him rolling over. That's all.
Yeah, basically.
I mean, I do that.
And that move is starting to look worse and worse the more he does it.
It is. It is.
I don't like that because I actually loved that move when he first started doing it, but it looks bad now.
Well, that's because people, I guess, are just getting lazy at selling it.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, whatever. I'm just going to roll over too.
So I'll put here Bray plays bitch to Orton and Harper.
Yep.
And there's a tag team match for later.
Woohoo!
So next out, we got Alexa Bliss and Naomi. What do you think about this match?
It was good. I didn't have a problem with it. Naomi won clean, which was fine with me because she's been around for a while and she is athletic. She is a really good wrestler. Sometimes I feel like she gets confused as to what's happening at that very moment, but it's very slight sometimes, and I only pick it up because I'm hypersensitive that way. But for the most part, even though like she made Alexa Bliss tap out clean, I thought it was a good tap out. Like how she rolled into it. Yeah, Alexa Bliss tried to go for the quick win. Granted, that looked like garbage. Naomi was not close enough to the ropes for you to try to lean over because at that point in time, you weren't even on Naomi. Naomi had to slide her head up underneath your legs.
By the way, I was going to say, what a great moment.
Exactly.
In history.
Seriously, I'll just key the song music and I'd be sitting there eating it with my popcorn, but whatever. And then she rolled her through, and instead of getting the pin, she taps her out. Instead of it being just a rollover pin, how sometimes they make those championship matches look like, oh, she got her with the quick roll-up. No, she switched it over real quick, threw her into submission, and, she looked at her like, bitch, you gonna tap out. Naomi had that face going. She was not playing.
I liked the match. I did not like the finish. I did not like that Alexa tapped twice in 3 nights to...
And that was their fault for doing that at WrestleMania.
And to me, that triggered my spidey senses. I'm like, okay, where is this going? Because I know how they are.
Yep.
When they want you protected, they won't let you lose dumbly like that. Mm-hmm. If they don't want you protected, shit like we just saw happens.
We saw rumors not that long ago that people were having less and less faith about Alexa Bliss's in-ring performance.
I understand that, but who you got that's better on Smackdown? Anybody?
Not really.
You got? Because you're gonna put the belt on Natty Neidhart? Are you serious?
I will say, I don't have a problem with that if she would lose some of her mannerisms.
I do. And here's why. The girl can wrestle her ass off. She might be the best wrestler on the roster for the women. I could not give a fuck. Can't give a shit. The most entertaining thing I've ever seen her do was the shit that she just did with Nikki Bella. I don't give a shit about Total Divas. I'm not watching that. So yeah, I don't really care. Like if they put the belt on her hypothetically, I would just not pay attention until they put it on someone else.
Yeah, and I can see that, but to me, that's also partially due because they built up the 4 horsewomen to be the epic 4 women of wrestling at this moment.
Right.
Even, Nikki Bella wasn't even that interesting.
Hell no, she wasn't.
She was just a hot chick that could do some moves, and she was a little bit strong because mainly she trained with John Cena. So, of course, you got to be strong. That's John Cena's house rule number 3. You must work out with Cena. Oh, I love the Miz segments of those.
You're being generous here. Shout out to Don Tony. I'm going to use another one of his words. Nikki Bella's the drizzling shits. the reason Nikki Bella was where she was so obvious, and because it was so obvious, I had no interest in seeing that. And boys and girls, if you don't know why she was there, they did that to spite AJ Lee, because they are fucking petty like that. So once I saw what they were doing, and they had her defend that belt for like 3 times in a year, I didn't give a shit. So yeah, Nikki Bella's the drizzling shit. Really, they haven't had anyone I've cared about like Alexa since AJ Lee.
Yeah.
And AJ Lee is forever bae. I love AJ Lee, I do. But yeah, so I mean, if the plan is to take Alexa out of the title picture, one, who you gonna get that can speak the way she does, and 2, am I gonna give a shit about him? And probably not, unless it's Asuka. If they bring Asuka up and she goes to SmackDown, happy fucking day.
Superstar shakeup, though. You don't know if a woman goes from Raw to SmackDown.
That's true. I think Sasha could go to SmackDown.
She could possibly.
Where she wants to be anyway. She wanted to be there before they did the draft last year.
Yeah.
Because, 1, I think she saw the writing on the wall about SmackDown being the wrestling show. Secondly, she's in love with Eddie Guerrero, so she wanted to be where Eddie was all those years.
Exactly. Let's see. There was something during the women's match where JBL and Otunga, and that there were 2 times that they made me laugh really hard from the commentating, and that's a wow factor for me because normally they don't.
You want to talk about the drizzling shits? David Otunga is lucky to have a job.
And David Otunga was one of the ones that made me laugh. It was amazing because they were talking about how Naomi's entrance, and they were like, "Yeah, she's dancing down the ramp and blah 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 blah." And JBL was like, "Yeah, I probably would have had a stroke getting halfway down the ramp." And Otunga was like, "What are you talking about, JBL?" He's like, "You would have tripped." And I was like, "No, he didn't. He's not sitting there bringing up old shit about JBL tripping, trying to get into the ring to help Lawler, and tripping over all the other bullshit out there."
Oh, the fucking thing that they pulled on him when that happened, when they had the dude on, what was it, 205 Live, and his name was Trip Bradshaw?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't catch that till later, but that shit was fucking hilarious.
But yeah, Otunga made a quick reference about that, and JBL was like, "Shut up over there." He just quickly bypassed the whole damn thing.
Trip Bradshaw is a black dude that was Trip Bradshaw. I remember fucking watching. I was like, "What? Trip for a black dude? What the fuck are they thinking?" And then I was like, "Oh yeah, never mind."
Yeah, that shit was just And we'll let's see, where was it?
You said it was at the end of the women's match.
Oh yeah, no. The next one. What's the next match? Was it the Ty Dillinger match?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, this is where the next one comes too. But Ty Dillinger, 10. It was great. Oh, I'm so happy he finally got up there.
Kurt Hawkins is out, and he makes an open challenge, and he gives his opponent to the count of 10 to get down the ring. He starts at 10, and he gets no further because Ty Dillinger's music hits to a huge pop and 10 chants galore.
And that sexy lady at the beginning, she's just like, 10. And you're like, yeah! You're just ready for some
crazy, man.
Oh yeah, it was great. And you could see it in his face as soon as he exited out. He was just so happy.
Because he's been around forever, man. He's been around. He was with ECW when they booted that shit.
Oh yeah, you saw that picture I posted about where he was the guy in the back on the headset, like one of the back tech guys, and Shawn Michaels. That's whenever
I never knew that was him.
That's when Triple H and Shawn Michaels and he started super kicking everybody. Yeah, Ty was the first one he popped with that super kick.
His name was Stan or some shit.
Yeah, but I'm so happy
what
to
is your
see
name?
him.
Stan. Bop.
And he won. They didn't job him.
No, they weren't going to job him.
Granted, it was only Kurt Hawkins.
Right.
And I don't care about the respect or disrespect because, sorry, Kurt. Sorry. No one cares about the facts.
You knew what you were getting into when you resigned. You knew they weren't going to use you correctly.
You were a jobber back when you were actually in here the first time. You're not coming back as something prime time.
That does suck for him that he peaked at the Edgeheads, though.
Yeah.
Like, he peaked as a tag champ 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, I already have the tag champs. I've been in WWE for like less than a year. I wonder what the future holds. Holds lots of losses there, bro. It holds you putting over new guys and getting beat in a minute and a half.
Let's get straight to the facts. You suck. But yeah, he won. It was great.
Wins with the tiebreaker.
Yep, it was amazing. During the match, this is where my next commentator laugh came, was JBL ribbing on Tom, because he told Tom, he was like, you have plenty of 10s, don't you, Tom? And Tom was like, shut up, JBL. Quickly pass on by, because, Mouthfuck Tom has plenty of 10s back there.
Oh, Mouthfuck Tom.
And JBL just thought, you know what? I'd give a good rib to this guy. He can take it more than Ronaldo can. Because apparently he's gone. Ronaldo's going to be gone.
Yeah, that's what I've been reading.
WWE's not mentioning him anymore. And I mean,
he took all mentions of WWE off his Twitter.
And I mean, it's whatever, dude. I mean, you deal with bipolar, depression, stuff like that. I get it, but
at the same time, JBL is and I say this as a fan of JBL, at least the character from its, from the APA to I was a fan of his commentary. On Smackdown during his first run when he was doing that shit. Not so much since he's been back. I've been a fan of a lot of things JBL does, but the stories you read about JBL, if even half of them are true, the guy's a piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, he's just a grade A asshole. And it's like the kid from school who was just a little hefty and he was bigger than you and he could push you around, and if you punched him, it didn't affect him because you were just punching into the belly.
No. That's where you're wrong, because if you do punch JBL, the people that have stood up to JBL...
No, he would beat the shit out of him.
No.
In the ring. It's what I'm talking about.
In the ring.
Fighting.
In the ring,
verbally
you can't do anything.
Yeah,
yes.
Verbally is different. No, I'm talking, these are the kids that come up and actually physically try to, I want to beat you up, and he takes them down. But then you get the one smart kid that walks in and he talks shit to him, and the kid looks over at JBL and is like, dude, you don't even know what you're talking about. And rationally, with sense, talks shit to him, you can't handle it because now you're not throwing punches. You're not clotheslining the shit out of people. You actually have to talk about what you're saying and what you're doing to people and rationalize it. And he can't do that.
And in JBL's case, the guy that ended up standing up to him was 150 pounds lighter than him, and JBL got knocked out from all reports. Also, there was another story where they were doing a wrestling court, and Matt Striker was, he was in there for whatever reason. I don't remember what it was, but he got handed down his punishment, and he was just gonna. I guess he was supposed to. To him, it sounded like him and JBL were gonna fight, and he wasn't gonna fight back, so he kind of just stood up to take his punishment, and JBL took that as him standing up for himself, and JBL backed down. I mean. Yeah. So, which one are you? Are you Billy Badass or are you a pussy?
That's the thing. It's the same as with those bullies in school. They're Billy Badass when you physically try to go up against them. But whenever you sit there and rationally say something, or you stand up and you're like, look, I'm not scared, do whatever you got to do. What do you do then? Because that dude's got bigger balls than I do. I wouldn't do that. I'd be the one hiding behind Triple H or Vince. Go, he's picking on me, please. That's JBL.
I just think if Mauro Ranallo is gone, it's a huge loss because he was different. And different is good in that company.
He was, but unfortunately to me, Ranallo, you knew what you were getting into.
I don't know that he did.
And if he didn't, that's his fault for not researching it. Unfortunately. I'm not going to jump into something with both feet unless I at least know what I'm getting myself into. They had to have told him, look, you're going to be commentator on Smackdown.
No, they don't. That's the thing. They don't tell you a lot of stuff. If you, I don't know if you've been hearing a lot of Justin Roberts, the old ring announcer.
I'm going to get to that book.
I've been
that
reading a
book
lot
was
of
amazing.
interview stuff that he's been saying. They basically don't tell him anything.
Well, he didn't want to know.
No, that from what I was reading, he wasn't told much, and when he would ask stuff, they would be like, they would shit on him, like, you don't know how to do your job, this, that, and the other. So it's like, dude, you kind of just have to wing it a lot of times.
And that's possible, but I mean, you're going in for a job in wrestling.
I think here's the thing: Morrow doesn't only do wrestling; he does other things as far as announcing. If he was trying to take those experiences and go, this is probably what I could expect from wrestling. While it would make sense with basically anything else in life, wrestling is its own unique
atmosphere.
Yeah, and it at times very toxic. And like with his illness, it's not something that's conducive for that. So
it's not. And it's, you take it from the past, you see how they were in the past. Now they just have to PG it for the camera. It's not like these people changed. A leopard's going to have its spots. A zebra's going to have its stripes. JBL's still going to be an asshole if he's JBL on commentator or if he's Bradshaw from the APA.
But I think Morrow may have, and I'm not putting words in his mouth or trying to tell you what he was thinking, but I would assume that he was probably thinking that the atmosphere was probably much more professional than it actually turned out being.
And I can get that because, I mean, any job that I've had, I've thought most of the same things, and most of the time it turned out differently. I will say there may be a job or two that was not like that, but most of the time, no, it's not professional. It's not what you think it should be. It's a lot worse, and it sucks. But I don't go in expecting things to be awesome anymore. I did whenever I was younger, and I had no experience with any of that type of stuff, but I don't do that now. I mean, I go in, they might throw me a couple lines of bullshit up front. Yeah, we're all about helping out our employees and blah, 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 and being one team, and then really it's not that way. Right. And Ronaldo's older than me. You've had experience. And maybe everywhere he's worked has been the green side of the pasture.
Yeah, because I don't think that you see a lot of the culture in other places that you do there.
But and I mean for me,
that's basically a boys' club where they.
Yeah, it is. But for me, like, I still see where all that hierarchy isn't right. No, there's something wrong about it.
Oh, it definitely is. But Vince encourages that shit.
Yeah. Oh.
Where we at?
Eric Rowan back. Let's see. Miz segment, right?
Mojo had a quick segment backstage. It actually,
it was all right. It ended
I thought
weird.
It was decent.
I'm a Mojo fan. You knew that from WrestleMania.
I don't really care for him, and I actually started to with that promo.
Exactly, and I mean, like, you at WrestleMania, you heard me. First guy I listed as winning that Andre the Mojo Rawley. Mojo's going to win it. And he did, and I was happy about that. And
I had Braun because I was fucking sane and wasn't worried about Mojo Rawley.
Well, see, you were looking at what they wanted
should
to
do.
Exactly. I was looking at... Okay,
there was my problem.
Exactly.
What they should do is what they never do.
Exactly. So I picked the guy that wasn't very, like, big, but I felt like they wanted to be big because they've been pushing Mojo. They've been pushing him. Ever since Zack Ryder, it might be slight, but they're like...
I guess I just haven't been giving a fuck. That's why.
And a lot of people don't because he's hyped up and he's a jock. He is. He's a football player.
And it's tiresome.
It is. It is. He wears you out because he's got so much energy. But with all that being said, I enjoy Mojo Rawley. I enjoy him. He's doing a great job, in my opinion. I mean, I watch his matches, and they're pretty good matches. I'm not going to say he's the best at the moment, but he's still green.
Very.
So, I mean, to me, with just having hopes, I see a bright future for Mojo Rawley.
I think Mojo is probably, again, another someone that should probably be down at NXT. I just haven't really given a shit because...
Well, they brought him up as the Hype Bros. And to me, the Hype Bros were going somewhere quick.
And, well, here's the thing. With Zack Ryder, you could cover a lot of, Mojo's weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
But, Ryder got hurt. It is what it is. I don't know. Like I said, I will start paying more attention to Mojo because of that promo. I thought he actually seemed very genuine there. And I actually found a reason to give a shit about dude that I didn't have before. So, I thought it came off well. I don't know if that was... Here's the thing. A lot of shit that doesn't come off well that they do, it's because you can tell that they tried to script it to sound a certain way, and it just sounds fake.
And that's why I did not like the ending. Because whenever he was like, "Oh, can you feel it?" And the commentator was like, "No, not really."
Yeah, that was definitely...
That kind of just turned it down for me.
That was something... It sounded like they actually told him to throw that in at the end. It sounded actually like he was going off bullet points.
Yeah.
And then at the end, there was like, well, we need you to throw this specific line in there.
And to me, he still recovered at least somewhat decently. He was like, well, that's all right, because I can, and Andre can too. And he walked off, and it was like, all right, cool. You going with the spiritual thing? I like that. I got you. You feeling the room, getting the energy, summoning that inner chi. Gonna become a Kuma.
So I'll give dude a chance, a little bit more of a chance, and we'll see where it goes. Next out, I got Ms. Maurice, the white hot Miz. Miz has been white hot since about September of last year.
Oh yeah,
knocking everything out of the park. Miz came out impersonating John Cena because, of course, he did.
Great job. Wonderful job in the live crowd. It wasn't scripted. It wasn't a video. It wasn't like they could take a couple shots and get it right. He got it right from the open to the end. It was great.
Absolutely. Nikki Bella, Maurice looked way better than Nikki Bella does.
Oh, yes.
But I'm a Maurice fan. Anyway, it was quite well done. Maurice, I put here, Maurice is so fine because she fucking is. And they go to leave, and we have the violinist that we saw at NXT TakeOver a while back. And as soon as he started playing, everyone knew exactly what was coming.
It was a pop the whole time. They didn't stop. They were like, woo! And just held it going for like 3 minutes straight. I was like, y'all need to take a breath. Y'all are making me run out of air.
And so we get the debut of Shinsuke Nakamura on the main roster on the wrestling show Smackdown. And I was having a conversation with a friend of mine that you know, and we were saying, he said he was just happy to see him on the main roster. I said I was happy to see him on SmackDown because SmackDown is the wrestling show, and I had zero interest in watching Shinsuke Nakamura cut dramatic promos or watching him in 20-minute New Day segments talking about bootios. I don't want to see him speaking in broken English in these long, drawn-out promos. I want to see him kick people in the face.
Yes.
And he can do that on SmackDown because it's the wrestling show. And to put that in perspective, he never spoke. He came out, they played him out, he did his shtick in the ring, and then they went to commercial break. He never spoke, and the less he speaks, the better. He just needs to have this role. He needs to have this charisma. He needs to come out and do his thing. He needs to win a lot, and he needs to be a top of the card guy.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, if at some point he learns the language better,
right,
feel free to go ahead and throw him a few segments. Don't make him too complicated.
English is not like when they would do those in-depth things and NXT, and they would sit down and speak to him. His English is not well. I would love for them to get him a mouthpiece.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think they'll do that.
And that's no disrespect to Shinsuke at all.
No.
I mean, you know more languages than I do fluently, so, I mean, more power to you. Unfortunately, it's just right now, English is a harder language, and
there's more to it than speaking the language.
Exactly.
He has to be able to convey
and deliver a certain type of emotion and stuff. And whenever you're still learning a language, it's hard to do that.
Absolutely. So,
even after people have learned a language for a certain amount of time, it's still hard to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if it wasn't, then we'd all be actors and actresses.
Exactly.
And there's people that have been in this country for 30, 40 years and couldn't act at all. So
there's people who've been in this year,
and half of them work for WWE, by the way.
And there's people who've been here for 30, 40 years who still can't speak English at all.
Right.
They got broken English.
Well, shit, my grandmother's one of those. My grandmother's from Germany, and I can't understand half the shit she says.
Well, that's from Germany. I'm talking people who were born here.
She's been over here since the 80s.
Well, that's fine. That's about how long I've been here.
Oh, man. I don't know what that was.
Well, yeah, that was a
great moment.
Oh, yeah.
Miz split. He never engaged.
Yeah, he didn't even go up the ramp. They walked off respectfully, kind of.
I'm not sure if that means Miz and Shinsuke will feud. I kind of hope not, because one, Miz is not winning that feud.
No.
Secondly, I would like to see Miz on. Actually, to be honest, I would actually like to see Miz toward the top of the card right now, as hot as he is.
I think he could get another title run.
I hope so. I would love to see Miz as champion right now more than Randy Orton.
Oh yeah, definitely. So much more.
And also, I'm hoping for a Ty Dillinger Miz feud, because they were going back and forth online a few months back. So I would actually like to see that pan out on television.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and that's all I got about there. Shinsuke's on SmackDown. I'm fucking happy about that. Hopefully AJ doesn't leave SmackDown, so eventually we get a Shinsuke Nakamura AJ Styles feud.
That would be nice, yes.
Even if he does leave, maybe someone like Seth Rollins can come to SmackDown and we can see that. Or maybe Finn Balor comes to SmackDown and we can see that. But
yeah,
things are looking up.
Oh yeah, definitely getting better.
Anyway, we got the next match involves the guy that I care the least about on the main roster. And that would be Dean Ambrose versus the guy that I probably care about the second least on the main roster, Baron Corbin.
I love Baron Corbin, and it sucks that you don't, but I like that guy. And I think one reason why you don't like him that much is because they've been having him feud with Dean Ambrose.
No, I don't like Baron Corbin because, it's about the same thing with Nia Jax. I'm not convinced that he's a monster, and they do a lot to try to convince you that he's a monster.
And yes, I will agree with you. I would like for him to be more devastating. They want to bring him in. Oh, he's a two-times.
I'm happy with his ring work. His ring work's fine. It's his character that he does not sound convincing to me.
He could be better at shit talking. Yes, I will admit that. But that's still, it's like the Mojo Rawley thing for you. He's green. He's a football player.
Well, Mojo kind of has the opposite thing going on right now, where that promo made me care about his character, but his in-ring work is
exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of
I care about Corbin's in-ring work. I think he's good in the ring.
Exactly. You have
his character's the shit.
You have one thing you like about him, but one thing you don't. You're like, fuck that guy. But you still have to give them time. We have to. This is where the whole 5 minutes of you don't have my interest and I'm done with you.
Well, see, no, not so much with Corbin. I've been watching Corbin for almost 2 years now.
Well, yeah.
And he's not really.
I mean, Mojo's. How long has Mojo been around? About a year and a half.
Less than Corbin, I think.
I think he came out like a few months after Corbin. I don't think they've been out as long as each other, but I think Mojo isn't that far behind Corbin. But again, like I said, I'm not too sure. I don't have dates or anything wrote down, but I don't feel like they have been. But and yes, I can see where each of those points is a good thing. But
and here's the thing. I guess the reason I'm so down on Corbin is I think he could be. They want him to be top of the card. I think he could be top of the card if he did not sound so damn robotic.
Yes.
When he speaks. And he's had decent segments on like Talking Smack where it's like, okay, he's putting it together. And then he comes out the next week and he's like...
But that's all scripted shit that he has to say. Truthfully, it's all stuff that they're sitting there and he has to look over and be like, okay, I guess I gotta say it like this. And unfortunately, he can't look at a suggestion to say and then actually form a good way of heelishly saying it. He can come up and he can start with that attitude and go with it like in talking smack, but whenever you give him bullet points, he doesn't look like the type of guy to take his homework home and study it. He's probably the type of guy that's like, yeah, I browsed over it, let's go with the interview. And then he's looking over there getting the bullet points and he doesn't really know what he's talking about. Yes, I can see that. But I like his in-ring work a whole lot. And that makes me very hopeful that you can focus more on your speech, sir. You can focus more on talking shit and delivering a good, solid message.
You want me to tell you why that's not good enough? And I will also contradict what I'm about to say right after I say it. It's not good enough because in 2017, it's not good enough to just be a good in-ring worker, because there's a lot of guys on their roster that are good in-ring workers that will never get past a certain point because their characters are just terrible. That being said, what Corbin does have in his favor is the fact that he's, a legitimate 6'7"?
Yeah.
So.
And he can end of days Samoa Joe.
And a cool finish.
He has a tight midway finisher and ending finisher. Deep Six and End of Days to me are both great moves. Because the Deep Six, it's not just a pick somebody up and drop them on the side. No, he sends them for a freaking twirl around the world viciously. It looks like you're going to be throwing up afterwards because he spins you so fast and hard. Right. And sometimes he even stays up long enough to put you around twice. It's just, I do hope that in the future, in the near future, you see Corbin the way I see Corbin.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if he can develop a little bit. I haven't seen as much development in his character as I'd like. I think he needs to do something with his hair because he's going bald. And It's like, dude, just accept it. You're going bald. It happens. Fucking do something with it. As opposed to Dean Ambrose, who I think his in-ring work is the drizzling shits, and I think his character is the drizzling shits, and I think he's Diet Roddy Piper, as I heard. I think Joey Numbers say that. And I think that is a perfect description of him.
You realize that mostly the whole person that we talked about this match was Baron Corbin.
Well, I mean, because there's just nothing to say about Dean.
Well, unfortunately.
Dean is in a... I mean, you go back a year, and Dean Ambrose was getting massive pops.
Yeah.
I was thinking back then his in-ring work was shoddy. But, I remember I gave him a bunch of slack when I read that Brock basically didn't want to do anything with him at WrestleMania last year because he was already plotting to go back to UFC.
Oh, yeah.
So I gave him a pass for that for a long time. But when I started paying attention again, it's like, this dude actually sucks in the ring. Like, what is he doing right now? And then he was doing the wacky Dean and not the fucking serious, he's like, he was a mixture of like Roddy Piper and Mick Foley when I dug him.
Oh, yeah.
Now he's like wacky Dean and I'm going to leave the world championship in a cab. And like, really, dude? He's fucking talking to plants and like, dude, come on now. What are we doing right now?
Yeah. They're going a little too far with the crazy shtick, the lunatic shtick.
Yeah, and not enough with the. He needs to be more bloodthirsty. I don't know.
Serial killer crazy.
Right, but if
not try to bite your ear off crazy.
But I understand they have to work with PG parameters, but there's a way to make someone creepy without making,
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is, this character is so shit these days that it makes you focus on his in-ring work, which was not the strongest part of his character to begin with. So I just don't give a shit about Dean Ambrose. And it's fucking crazy because this guy was world champion 6 months ago, and I couldn't give a fuck.
He was thought of to be the leader of the Shield.
Wasn't he like the third pick in the draft? Or some shit like that?
He was the first pick for SmackDown.
Was he? Yes, he was. He was the champion at the time.
Yes.
Holy shit.
Because Raw picked Seth Rollins.
He was the first pick, and he was on the pre-show of WrestleMania. Holy shit. That tells you everything you need to know about where his career is gone.
Oh,
last
yeah.
year.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my
They had
God.
high hopes. Not anymore.
Anyway, let's get through this match. Corbin spears, hits a spear through the table on Dean. Corbin at one point got a leather strap to use on Ambrose. Corbin sets up a chair in the corner and he misses another spear and he goes head first into the chair, which is fucking hilarious. Ambrose then gets the strap, lays into Corbin a little bit. Ambrose hits that shit looking elbow drop that he does, the standing elbow. It just looks
it's bad. At first it was cool, but then now it's just starting to look worse and worse and worse.
Yeah,
As
with a lot of the moves he does.
At first he was doing an actual like laying down elbow drop. Now he's doing the standing drop down to my feet elbow drop. It doesn't look as intense. It just
I could say that at least he's not doing that fucking clothesline move like 5 times a match anymore.
Yeah,
that shit was annoying as fuck.
Yeah. The lunatic lariat, as Ronaldo called it.
The kingpin was what he was calling him when he was trying the kingpin of SmackDown.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I mean, we can pretty much get to the end. Ambrose tries to come up over the rope or whatnot. Baron Corbin hits it, racks him up, hits him with the end of days. 1, 2, 3. My main man has another shot at the Intercontinental Championship.
He should have won it at Mania, to be honest.
He really should have. I was so angry that they didn't do that. That was dumb. But whatever. He's going to get it this time. It's cool. We got this. Team Corbin.
That's all you for right now.
I know it's all me. It's okay. I'll own it. I'm a big Baron Corbin fan. I like it.
So we got Shane O'Mac out next.
Yep.
He talks about SmackDown being the land of opportunity.
Real quick, I wish he would stop doing the whole hand going around and when.
I don't need to see a 48-year-old man doing that.
No, you're not the same kid you were back then. You can come out and do the yo dog thing against your chest.
Even I cringe at that.
I cringe at that too. But if I have to give and take, please give up the coming out backwards, swinging your fucking hand around, and I will take you pounding your chest twice and throwing out a deuces. Yeah. I'm cool with that. I will be happy.
I didn't realize. What was that last year at WrestleMania when he had his kids come out doing that shit?
Yes, it was horrible.
I didn't see that live, and I'm so glad I didn't.
It was
I
awful.
think I may have not been looking at TV or something.
It is possible.
Because I saw that for the first time the other day, and I was like, ugh.
Yeah, no.
God.
Unfortunately, Shane, your kids did not look very bright at that moment.
Where are we at? I fucking lost one.
We're at AJ and Shane, baby. I mean, it was a good segment.
Shane says SmackDown's the land of opportunity and for the shakeup. People that are coming in. AJ's out, says he wants to stay on SmackDown. He says he owes Shane something after Sunday, and he shakes his hand. Then he teases punching him in the face and leaves. Is this a face turn for AJ?
I think it's a start of one, or I think it's like the start of how I can be the dickish bad guy, but everybody still loves me, and I can show respect to the people I want to show respect to. It's kind of like Austin.
You know, with their logic, he's been a face about the last 8 months because he's even though he's the main heel, he's been getting cheered louder than the faces on the fucking show.
Yeah, I mean, he gets a bigger pop than most of them. And that's just because, I mean...
He's the shit. You gotta respect him.
AJ Styles is what he claims he is. He is phenomenal.
He's the best on the planet.
He really is. I mean,
He is their Shawn Michaels.
He is. I mean, he is the face that... He made SmackDown Live. John Cena didn't make SmackDown Live. AJ Styles made SmackDown Live.
Cena's not been around enough.
Exactly. Vacay Cena.
Alright, so we got this main event, which I really didn't care too much for.
I mean, we could just go to sleep on it if you want to, because that's about how the match was. I was really pissed. So pissed. Not even funny about it. It was like, you've got Eric Rowan back, and as soon as the first segment on the damn show aired, and Eric Rowan came out and was beating up on Randy Orton, I was like, this shit's going to be made into a tag team match because Luke Harper came out, and then Eric Rowan is going to get
Let's make a tag team match, player.
It's like, are you freaking kidding me? Why even bring Eric Rowan back if this is it? Bray Wyatt looks so damn weak, and it is a shame.
Yeah.
It is a fucking shame because
that's what he does.
Who are you? You made him out to be the next Undertaker, the next evil bad guy.
He can never be the Undertaker. Let me tell you why. Because the Undertaker was so protected the first few years of his career.
Oh yeah,
Bray loses every fucking body.
Dude, Undertaker came out, you would punch him and he would just stare at you. He sold nothing.
Bray loses so much to the point where people were starting, and I think people still kind of looked at it like this, where people were not taking him serious as a world title contender anymore.
No, he just
because he loses every feud.
Truthfully, how I see Bray Wyatt right now is just a meth head who thinks he can do anything and everything, and then he goes up against the wrong person. He's like, come on, man, let's fight, follow the buzzers. And then he gets punched in the jaw, and he's dropped, and then he's down, and he gets pinned, and he loses. And then he's just sitting there like, ha, 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 ha. That's what meth does to people, bruh. You get your ass beat, and then after you finally wake up, you look at him, and you're like, ha, 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 ha. What's next, bro? It's just, I mean, what? Bring Sister Abigail out. Make somebody Sister Abigail.
You know, I was actually listening again. Shout out Wrestling Soup. They were saying, when the shit was happening during the match at Mania, they thought, with the maggots and all that shit, they thought Sister Abigail was getting introduced that night.
I did too.
And then Randy Orton just beat him in the middle of the ring.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck was that for?
Yeah, it was crappy. I hated that. Hated it so much. And then you bring Eric Rowan back the next night or the next Tuesday for, oh my God, Eric Rowan's back just to get beat. There is no surprise.
Well,
there is no shock factor. As soon as it happened, everybody in the audience, everybody watching at home, they were all like, this dude is going to get his ass kicked later tonight and lose the damn match because that's who Eric Rowan is.
Let's get into it. Orton starts off getting worked. Harper gets the hot tag. I put Harper as super talented. He really is.
He really is. He's great. He's awesome at what he does.
He needs to be pushed. The Wyatts regain control. Harper starts to get it worked over. Here I wrote it down what you were talking about earlier. Harper looks to be in much better shape lately.
He does. He looks a lot leaner. It might be due to one, the black wife beater, and two, his shirt being tucked in. Because his shirt was always untucked, so maybe that made him look bigger. But yeah, back whenever he was white shirt, dirty shirt, it was like he looked like some trailer trash dude. Just sat at home picking lint out of his belly button and getting ready to shoot people who trespassed on his yard, even though he was in a trailer that would move anywhere and he parked it on a fucking concrete parking spot. There's no yard, Luke. It's all concrete. You can't shoot me here. He looks more civilized.
So we got him getting worked over. We got Orton getting the hot tag. Bray teleports away from the ring, which was fucking stupid. God, was that stupid. And it leaves the returning Eric Rowan to eat a super kick and then eat an RKO. And I put bad ending to a decent match. That's how I said. Here's the thing. I know a lot of people looked at Eric Rowan as a guy that we pushed. He has his supporters, believe it or not. I didn't look at him like that.
I didn't either.
But
they jobbed him too much in the get-go.
He's just a big guy.
Yeah.
I don't think he's nowhere near the talent that Luke Harper is.
No.
But a lot of people had faith in dude. Look, if you look at the participants in this match, it was only going to end one way.
Mm-hmm.
And that was with Harper getting pinned by someone. Or not Harper, Rowan. With Rowan getting pinned by someone.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. He is where he is. that's what happens when you're in the Wyatt family. I guess they had no other plans for him, or they would have done something else with him. I also don't like that Bray is back in the Wyatt family, or he's. I wish Bray was solo. Bray needs to be solo.
Mm-hmm.
But I think
either that, or he needs to have a tag team championship with him, like a tag team contenders with him. It doesn't need to be just him and Eric lose every match Rowan.
I disagree. I just want to see him alone. I think he needs to be a baby face, Undertaker like. I don't talk a lot. I just come out and whoop ass. We know he's a great promo, but that gimmick has the chance to get over huge if he said less and kicked more ass and was much more protected.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't know, but Orton and Harper get the win. Harper and Orton get the win. And that's how we go off the air.
Yeah.
It was a decent Smackdown. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was better. Well, I don't know. Raw was actually pretty good this week.
In general, Smackdown is just normally better.
Yeah. For me. Raw was actually decent this week. I'll give it props. But yeah, other than the cruiserweight match, which I thought was a dud, and so I guess the tag team number one contender match on Raw was pretty shit.
Yeah, it was pretty shitastic.
So good shows. I know they won't last. I know. Actually, they got the shakeup coming on Raw, so Raw might be good Monday.
Well, I actually heard it was supposed to last Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah, it is. So we might get the back-to-back weeks of good TV,
which would be nice.
So we'll have a decent show next week. The week after that, back to normal.
Yes! Shit-tastic. Scrape it off the bottom of your shoe.
But we're closing in. Actually, we've passed 2 hours now.
Hell yeah. Great first show.
Good first show.
Hell yeah. But definitely more to come.
More to come. We'll see if we can get this sounding a little better as far as how we move this along. First episode, so we have to work the kinks out. We'll see how it goes.
Definitely.
But I'm definitely happy with how the conversation. We didn't have too many dead spots, so I actually like that.
Oh yeah, no dead spots is a good thing, and we don't always agree, which is somewhat positive, but
yeah, it makes it more interesting. If we agreed all the fucking time, the fucking show would be 30 minutes long.
Oh my god, I couldn't do that. There would be no point.
Yeah, do you like Roman? Do you? I do too. Yeah, let's talk about Roman.
Amazing. Oh my god. Oh, I love how greasy his hair looks. I could just fry my bacon in it all day. It's just...
How's that guy not doing commercials for some fucking conditioner or some shit like that?
Dude, how is he not doing commercials for Hardee's, like putting the grease on the grill for him? Just like he whooshes his hair and it's like... Psh.
That dude should have had Troy Polamalu's job now to sit there and look at it.
Dude, I heard that they were oh wait, were we listening to that earlier? Yeah, I think we were, about Roman doing the Pepsi commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what they were talking about on Wrestling Soup. But yeah, I mean, that's all that dude's good for right now is just merchandise stuff.
Again, like they said on Soup, if 3/4 of the fucking merch you send is Roman Reigns stuff.
Yeah, true.
Of course he's going to. I mean, they did the same thing I read a few years ago with John Cena and CM Punk. Punk was actually beating Cena in certain places, and then what they started doing was sending more Cena stuff and less Punk stuff, so Cena had to beat Punk eventually.
Which, by the way, I would still like for CM Punk to.
I don't, and he's not going to. That's what I love. That's what I love. I love about CM Punk. He has my personality. If you fuck me, you're done.
And that's cool with me. I mean, I get it.
And he's like that. He's a spiteful, fuck you kind of guy. And
as a fan, there's still that glimmer of hope in me that one day he'll come back and shit all over the WWE.
He won't, because I know how he thinks, because I can relate to the guy. I think that exact way. He's not going to be back. I love that all these people think that, he's going to be back. Everybody eventually comes back. CM Punk ain't everybody. And he prides himself on not being everybody. His whole fucking shtick was, I'm drug-free. Nobody else is drug-free, but I'm drug-free. I don't fucking do drugs. Everybody wants to go get a tattoo of their favorite beer on their arm. I got a Pepsi signal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's his whole thing, is being different. He won't be back in WWE. If he gets the urge to go to wrestling, it will not be for WWE. It'll be at a Ring of Honor show or some shit like that.
Well, dude, I will say this. I will, as long as we do this podcast, try my damnedest to, at some point in time, try to interview CM Punk. And I don't care what we talk about. I think it would just be awesome to have a conversation with that dude.
Right.
Because, I mean, I like people like that. That's why we're cool. We're friends, because we're somewhat the same, but we're also different.
Right.
And we can respect each other for that. But, yeah, that'd just be really tight. But, yeah, I mean, great first show. We're going to definitely do more. We'll try to throw some NXT in there, too, from time to time.
I don't know, dude. We'll end up talking for 4 hours. We do some shit like that.
Dude, hey, I don't care what we do. I mean, I enjoy this shit. And it'll get better and better. That's all I think.
Right.
And so, I mean, throw some NXT. Maybe we'll do 2 a week. Have some NXT on one, or split it up and do 205 Live or something like that. I don't know. We'll figure something out. Or just every now and then we'll reference NXT, because unfortunately I don't watch it every week. But sometimes I see some good stuff.
I haven't been either lately. So
I'm kind of hoping that they do some good stuff with Sanity and stuff like that. But we'll definitely make some changes, make some better stuff, swap some stuff out, maybe have some different types of segments or something. But definitely a good first run, and we're just going to have more. One more will come out next week, and then the week after that, and then maybe 2 in 1 week, because we'll have some pay-per-views and stuff going. And I know if we do one right after a pay-per-view, we'll probably have plenty of stuff to talk about.
Right, and you know the way they spam them these days.
Oh, yeah. You get one every week. If you sign up on the WWE Network now, first-month subscribers get this shit for free. And then you'll see the ultimate thrill ride. Sorry, I had to throw that in there one more time for you, because I know you hated it. Shit was crazy.
Every 10 seconds, the ultimate thrill ride.
But yeah, I'm John Callahan.
Frankie Wrestling.
And this is our podcast. Feel free to subscribe. Hit up your friends, let them know. And we'll be here next week. Later.